Greetings, thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Friday, January 28, 2022. Brought to you by Wilcon Depot, the country's leading home improvement and construction supplies retailer. Shop conveniently 24/7 with Wilcon online store. Just go to shop.wilcon.com.ph. For today's editorial, US-China are back in the brinkmanship game barely a month into the new year. Tensions in the Indo-Pacific region are mounting once again as rival superpowers go into provocation mode by flashing their military might. In the South China Sea, two United States aircraft carrier groups, joined by a Japanese destroyer, are conducting training to preserve and protect a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Part of the training involves sailing close to islets China claims to be part of its territory. Beijing interprets the presence of a flotilla of foreign warships in the disputed waters as a challenge to its authority and has swiftly responded in kind. On Sunday, 39 Chinese warplanes flew into Taiwan's air defense identification zone, the largest incursion this year. This swarm of aircraft includes the H-6 bomber, believed by Western military analysts to be capable of launching a hypersonic missile. The acts of intimidation serve to strengthen the growing belief that the Indo-Pacific is evolving into a major flashpoint in what has been described as Cold War II. The Cold War that began not long after the end of Second World War was an era defined by brinkmanship, a game that pitted the free world against the Iron Curtain. The protagonists pushed each other to the very edge of confrontation without actually starting a war, much like a fencing duel without drawing blood. The Cold War almost reached a meltdown point in 1962 when the US and the Soviet Union, which were in the grip of the Cuban Missile Crisis, came within a hairbreadth of a nuclear conflict. Only 11-hour negotiations between President Kennedy and Premier Khrushchev saved the world from annihilation. 60 years on, brinkmanship is still pretty much in vogue. This time, it's the West versus China and Russia. In the Indo-Pacific theater, the US has paired up with regional allies like Australia and Japan in building a shield of deterrence to what it perceives as China's expansionist ambitions. China, on the other hand, has been fortifying its defenses against foreign intervention and aggression. In the words of one Chinese senior military officer, "This is our backyard. We can decide what vegetables or flowers we want to grow." The participation of a Japanese warship in the US show-off force in the South China Sea could be a sign that Tokyo is taking a firmer hand in dealing with Beijing. That's a major shift in Japanese policy. Just last year, the Japanese foreign minister underlined the importance of maintaining the freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, but he said his country was against the use of force in enforcing it. Smack in the crosshairs of the looming conflicts are countries like the Philippines that are trying their best not to be dragged into the fray. The Philippines, in particular, finds itself involved in both the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait fronts. It has been dealing constantly with Chinese incursions into its exclusive economic zone. Now, the Chinese aircraft probing Taiwan's defense reportedly also flew over the Bashi Channel, the narrow body of water just north of Luzon. That's too close for comfort. Taiwan believes Beijing is not only testing Taipei's response, but is also trying to wear out the island territory by keeping it constantly on edge. The recent provocations from both sides should not be taken lightly by ASEAN. Once again, it is enforced to walk the tightrope. The shadow China casts over the Indo-Pacific is difficult to ignore. Its actions will always ripple across the region. On the other side of the coin, ASEAN must adapt to the changing geopolitical landscape. The region is being billed as the world's next growth hub, so it must prepare for the influx of economic opportunities from the Western Bloc. It should learn to maintain its balance amid the conflicts that buffet the region and be a sobering, calming force. There is a nugget of wisdom offered by Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong when he said, "The South Asian region stands at the intersection of the interests of various major powers and must avoid being caught in the middle of forced into invidious choices. And that's the editorial for Friday, January 28, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the voice of the Times.